Hello and welcome. In today's video I'm going to discuss Victory Day, as it's called in the Soviet Union, which is held on the 9th of May. Now if you go to Moscow, there is a place called Victory Square. It's in the north of Moscow, and there you have the Victory Museum as well. And in that museum is the Museum of the Second World War. Now, I have some videos from there, but I suspect that because the current regime is now interpreting history in a different way than what I saw when I was last there in 2009 is no longer the case. I suspect they will have changed things to suit their current opinions. But you, as you're watching my channel, you will believe, I'm sure, my maxim: don't change the facts to suit your opinions, change your opinions to suit the facts. And as far as this Victory Day is concerned, there's one really important thing to consider. It's this: who started the Second World War? And that was a plot between two countries, one of which was Nazi Germany. Nazi Germany invaded Poland on the 1st of September 1939, and the second country was that one which is now celebrating Victory Day, that is to say Soviet Union, which invaded Poland on the 17th of September 1939. On the 20th of August, some 3 weeks earlier, the foreign ministers of Nazi Germany and the Soviet Union got together and they signed the Ribbentrop Molotov Pact, which divided Poland between themselves. And there's the Soviet Union got a really big chunk of Poland, and Germany got the rest. And Germany, however, got Lithuania out of this deal, and Latvia and Estonia were to go to the Soviet Union, never mind what the population in these countries actually thought. Having said all of that, the Soviet Union, towards the end of September, sort of changed its mind. It rather fancied Lithuania instead, and suggested handing over to Nazi Germany the territory between the Vistula River and the Bug. And so, therefore, places in what is today Eastern Poland were first occupied by Nazi Germany, then by the Soviet Union, and then by Nazi Germany again. Indeed, my friend Toivo Blatt, who later was to escape from the Sobibor death camp, what he said about this was this: when the Germans initially occupied the place, they were very nice. Indeed, he said this: there was somebody, a soldier actually gave him some sweets, and he said to the soldier in Yiddish, "A schöner Dank," and the German said, "Danke schön," probably thinking he was correcting his German, because the Yiddish sounds somewhat similar. Toivo later said the problem was this: if only they'd actually killed a couple of people and behaved very badly, then maybe the Jewish population would have taken warning and fled. But that, whilst it was still possible. Soviets then occupied, and this created problems with, in some cases, even the theft of property. And then the Nazis came back, and then there was the occupation, which in this case lasted until the Soviet occupation started again in the summer of 1944, which was to last until 1989. Now, celebrating this Victory Day is, I think, rather a slap in the face at the hundreds of thousands, indeed the millions of victims of Soviet imperialism. You have hundreds of thousands of Polish people were deported into the interior of the Soviet Union. Many of these people died. Not everybody died. Indeed, the number one reason for a Polish Jew to survive the Holocaust was because they were deported by the Soviet authorities to the interior of the Soviet Union, whether it's Siberia, Kazakhstan, or somewhere else in the middle of nowhere, and they managed to survive. That is the number one reason for survival. But lots of these people died. Now, if I can take one example alone, Adam Cherniakov, who was the head of the Judenrat in the Warsaw Ghetto, who killed himself. He committed suicide when he realized that he couldn't stop the deportations to Treblinka. His own son, unaware, his father didn't know, I'm sure, died the same month in a Soviet camp. This, remember, a Polish person, theoretically an ally of the Soviet Union, and he died. Now, what the Soviets did with the Katyn massacre is also, I mean, it's very well known now, but it was denied by the Soviet Union until 1989. And today, if you go to the cemetery of where the Polish victims from the Katyn massacre are buried near Katyn, or commemorated near Katyn, you will have to pass by a exhibition which more or less says that the Soviets didn't do it. You have the murderers claim, oh, just a minute, this is all a mistake, or whatever. That exhibition was put up recently, and of course there aren't many people from the families of the victims going to see it now, but it is known. In fact, somebody actually sent me photographs. Unfortunately, the photographs are not very clear, so I'm unable to actually let's see if I can do a separate video on that subject. So this now brings me onto the subject of, is this a legitimate military target for Ukraine? Well, the answer is clearly yes. If they because it's okay, this year they're saying they're not going to use any military hardware. They haven't in the past. But my opinion is the following, and I said exactly the same thing almost 4 years ago to the day from Kyiv, when I suggested the reasons why, in my opinion, the Crimean Bridge wasn't a good target for attack. The reason I thought it wasn't a good target then was the following: is because it's going to be very well defended from whatever anti-drone and all the rest of it. And I believe that in Moscow right now, the defenses are going to be really hyped up, and they'll have done this from taking anti-drone defenses from other places, the front and all the rest of it. I would have thought that the best thing for the Ukrainians to do is not to attack Moscow during the this event, but instead to concentrate on targets they are more likely to hit, and the destruction that can be then caused because of the very simple logical reason they might actually hit something. Now, on the video I did about the Crimean Bridge, when it was actually hit several months later, somebody wrote, well, that video didn't age very well. Well, we'll see actually how well this video ages within 24 to 36 hours. But anyway, that was obviously, I'm not in Ukraine right now. I don't know. I'm now sitting in Germany, and I have spent quite a lot of time in Ukraine during this war. So anyway, that's how I see it. Obviously, I'm not party to what the Ukrainian army thinks and what it does. But there is something I think that the Russians might try. Now, they're well known for false flag operations. I think that they might even try a cynical terrorist attack on its own population. Perhaps even these people, the immortal ones, the carrying the faces of their family members who were killed in the Second World War. I think they would try something like that as a false flag operation. That wouldn't surprise me at all, given the way that they have been preparing for many years for such things. Anyway, good. So thanks so much for watching. Hope you found it interesting. I don't normally do 2 videos in one day, but I did today. But for the moment, all the best from me. Bye for now.